I got the question of recommendations for a mom to maintain her supply while at work. Now, obviously, this is going to vary per woman. Everyone is very different. They can hold a different level, a different volume of milk in their breasts. And so that means that different women will have to express more often to maintain the same supply that other women could maintain while expressing less often. But in general, when you're getting ready to go back to work, I would pump a few times a week so that you have a little bit of extra. You don't need a ton, you don't need a freezer full, but just a little bit of extra in your freezer when you go back. Then while you're at work, you're going to try to pump the same volume of milk that your baby took when they were away from you. So whatever amount they took from their bottles when they were gone from you or separated from you, that's what you're going to try to bring home from work. Now, it doesn't have to be exact, and that might look like you're going to pump as many times as they took a bottle. It may look like that you don't have to pump that many times. They could take 3 bottles, you pumped twice, and you brought home about the same volume of milk. That's great. Just keep tabs on the amount of milk that you're bringing home so that you know where you're at. And if you brought home less than what they took from the bottle, or if you brought home more or the same amount, then you can do extra things like if you didn't bring home as much as they took from the bottle, if they're going through more milk than what you brought home from work typically, you could pump after you put them to bed each night. You could still pump in the morning after that first feeding of the day. You could pump on the weekends, or after you could pump on the weekend, or whenever your days off are, you would feed baby exclusively from the breast, but then throw in a pump session. Anything to tell your body to make a little bit more milk than what it's already doing with the pump. Tips for pumping can come in handy also. Try to relax. Use your hands to express more milk. Play with your pump settings to make your pump most efficient at getting milk out. You want the highest suction setting that's comfortable in general. You want to make sure you're using the flange size that helps you get the most milk out. Don't suck on peppermints. Some women are really sensitive to peppermint when they're pumping. Look at a picture of your baby or a video of your baby. Listen to sounds of your baby or sounds of water flowing. You don't have to do all of these things. These are just some things to try to keep in mind, some ideas to get you going. You can hand express in the shower each day. That's another point of milk removal that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So hand express in the shower to get a little bit more milk out. Tell your body that you want a little bit more milk. Then I like to think about supply as a pyramid. So at the bottom of the pyramid, you're going to have the demand. The amount of milk removal, the frequency of milk removal is going to have the biggest impact on your supply. After that, you have things like how hydrated are you? Do you need to increase your water intake? Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Make sure you're eating lots of calories. Not lots of calories. Make sure you're eating enough calories. That is not usually a problem unless people are really intent on getting back to a pre-pregnancy weight and they're working out really hard and they're eating really strict. Then occasionally you can get your calories too low. So just make sure you're eating enough calories, but hydration can be a big one. So make sure you're drinking enough water. After that, after the amount of milk removal, and then your hydration and your nutrition status, then after that can come other things like galactagogues. So there are certain things that we eat in our food that can help a mammal make more milk. And how much it helps depends on the person, depends on the mammal. So things that you might find in a typical American diet would be things like fennel, oatmeal, barley, yeast. Those things have shown to increase milk supply. Garlic is a fun one. It's not officially a galactagogue, but what they find is that the more moms eat garlic, the more milk babies drink. Well, if babies are drinking more milk, they're removing more from the breast, which means mom's going to make more. So it can increase your milk supply, even though it's not necessarily from the garlic. It's more from the demand of the baby. So there's a whole bunch of different galactagogues out there. You can look up a list and find some that you maybe already eat. Find some that you enjoy that you can add in more. Oatmeal. And then the thing with galactagogues is that they're just foods that you're adding into your diet. You're not going crazy with them. So after that are things like mother's milk tea, um, and fenugreek. And those are where I put like higher up on the pyramid, because now you're consuming a product so much so that your sweat and your pee are going to smell like maple syrup. Like, it's not just a food that you're adding in to your healthy diet. It's something that you're taking more than that. So that's why I kind of create these levels of the pyramid that start with milk removal, go to your water and your calories, then to certain foods that have a good impact on milk, then to things like fenugreek and mother's milk tea. Whenever you're home with baby, try to nurse baby a little bit more if you are struggling to bring home from work the same amount of milk that they took when they were away from you. So maybe you only nurse baby usually after every nap. Try nursing baby before and after. Anything you can do that you can increase your amount of milk removal. You could do something like power pumping, where at night, well, it can be any time, but sometimes it's easy to do it at night after you put the kids to bed. You sit down, say you're going to read a book, you're going to watch a show, and you could pump multiple times in that 30 or 40 minutes. That way, it works with your hormones, because as your hormones are increasing when you pump, they don't drop down to baseline before the next pump session. And it also tells your body, like, okay, that wasn't enough. Let's make more. Let's make more. You're trying to increase the frequency and the amount of milk removal so your body knows to adjust to making more milk. So there are all kinds of different ways to increase your milk, or to make to have a stable supply while you're working, a great stable supply. And what you want to do is find the ones that work for you, the ones that work for your schedule, your personality, the ones that don't stress you out, that are easier for you to fit into your life. So if it's the intervention that you've tried is really difficult and you hate doing it, maybe that's not the one for you. Try a different one, because it doesn't have to be one certain way. I hope that helps you maintain your milk supply when you're back at work.